Oh, I didn't forget to breathe while I'm sleeping. Hmm. Guys, do you also want to know why our heart is still beating while we're sleeping and what organ of our body that give signal to our heart to beat? I also want to know. So let's go and find out. Hi, here I am again. My name is Carla Missy Regino. I am going to discuss or to let you all guys know what organs of our body that keep us breathing while we're sleeping, and what organ of our body that controls our entire body. Well, if you think the brain, that's correct. For today, I have simple activity for you guys to do. You can do it in the work, home, or everywhere because it was just so simple. So, simply raise your right hand and draw a circle on the air. Well, your left foot is drawing a square shape. Do you feel confusing or difficult? That's exactly the point. What you just experienced is your brain trying to manage multiple tasks at the same time, and different parts of it competing for attention. Today, I'm going to show you how your brain actually works like a kind of GPS for your body, guiding everything you do, feel, and think. By the end of this video, you will be able to identify the three main control center of our brain and understand how they affect your learning and behavior. They first will look at the brain survival system. Let's start with the development, which is also known as survival center or the brainstem. Let's start with the most basic and oldest part of the brain, the brainstem. This part of keeps you alive and without you even thinking about it. It controls things like your breathing, your heartbeat, and your basic body function. A simple way to understand it is to imagine an airplane on autopilot. Even if the pilot is not actively controlling everything, the plane still stays in the air and keeps functioning. That's what the brainstem does. It keeps your body running automatically even when you are asleep. The number 2 is the emotional center, the limbic system. Next, the limbic system, which is the emotional part of your brain. This area is responsible for your emotion, memory, and motivation. If you feel fear, scared, sad, happy, or overwhelmed, well, the limbic system or the emotional center is responsible for that. Two important parts here are the amygdala and hippocampus. The amygdala helps you to process emotional like fear or excitement, while the hippocampus helps store memory. For example, have you ever smelled a certain food and suddenly remember your grandmother's kitchen or a childhood moment? That's your limbic system at work, connecting emotional memory. Now, think about this. If you feel extremely nervous or scared during a test, which part of the brain do you think is the most active? Yes, the emotional system, the limbic system. And sometimes strong emotion can actually make it harder to think clearly. The third one, which is the thinking center or neocortex. Finally, we have the neurocortex. This is the nerves that most advanced part of the brain. It is responsible responsible for thinking, reasoning, language, problem solving, and decision making. OMG! So, thinking center is the most hardworking part of our brain. Yes. Wherever you solve math problems, write essay, or plan your day, you are using your neocortex. But there's something interesting. Why do you think tired brain struggle to solve a complex math problem even if your body is fine? It's because the neocortex needs energy to focus to work properly. When you are tired, directly, or emotional overwhelmed, it becomes harder for part of your brain to perform at its best. So even though it's powerful, it depends on the other system working in balance. So if you struggle solving math problems, you just need some energy to finally solve your problems or activity in school. Hi, I'm so tired for discussing the three part of our brain. So, do you still remember the three part, which is 1, 2, and 3? So, let's quickly summarize what we learned today. Your brain has three major systems: the brainstem, which keeps you alive; the limbic system, which controls your emotion and memory; and the neocortex, which allows you to think and learn and solve problem solving. Thank you!